Okay guys, so I'm on my front porch and we have to call the Reproduction Games over. I somehow got a outbreak, you guys knew, of flies, but they are actually, these flies are actually called drain or sewer flies, and they're found in decomposing matter, but very rarely in worm bins. But unfortunately, I have so many of them, and they're actually really harmful. They're hard to get rid of in your house. If you have too many of them, it can exacerbate asthma problems. So I'm not about to continue this with the number of flies that I have. So I've moved these guys outside to my porch, and I'm going to, I think, dump them into my outdoor bin because it'll be fine there and they'll go away, hopefully. But I did want to show you before I completely ended it. I'm totally bummed out about it, but there's some very strange things. So I'm going to show you. This is the red wiggler bin, and I have cocoons and worms all throughout here. I mean, through the whole bin. I was looking through it. There's babies everywhere. There's juveniles everywhere. I mean, they're just doing absolutely fantastic. I wish I could keep this going, but there's also a lot of like this kind of dusty mold coming off of some of this bedding in here, so I just know this isn't good to have in my house, so it's just gonna have to go. But everywhere I dig, if I can find it, there's just babies, adults, there's all sorts of different size worms. So I definitely think after looking through all these, this is going to be our winner, at least for me. This over here is our African nightcrawler bin here in the middle, and I saw a few small worms in here. I didn't dig around a long time to find the adults, but there's a baby right there by my thumb. I mean, this is honestly, the material is pretty nice, but the mold and all of that is just not healthy. I can't have it in my house. Like I said, it's really bumming me out, but the good sign is that I can say all of the worms are still having cocoons hatch and do pretty well. This bin I'm finding less worms, but there are still some in here. I'd added so much dry bedding in hopes of fixing the problem, but it really just didn't do much of anything. But there's babies, there's still some cocoons in here. So I think that's going to be our loser. And here's the European nightcrawler bin. This is the most unusual out of all three of the bins. These adults are monstrous. I've never seen worms this large in my entire life. At least not European nightcrawlers. Believe me, you won't miss them once you see them. Now I say that, and now I can't find them. But we will in a second. Let's see. I'm sorry, I'm squatting and I didn't have time to set up a tripod. So I just have to move around here. Here's one of them. And this is the smallest, I think, out of all of the adults that I found. So let's see if we can find the other ones. I really think it'll blow your mind how big these guys are. There's some babies. So again, they still did okay. It's the other guys that decided to come and join the party that did not sit well with me. And of course now I can't find these other adults. I was just looking at them before I started, and of course I started with the red bin and they probably burrowed back down. Got a sunburn the other day. I know my arm looks very strange. But let me find some of these adults for you real quick. I'll show those to you, and then I'm gonna go dump these in the outdoor bin. Okay, so here they are. The two really big guys. European nightcrawlers are not usually anywhere near this large. These guys look so, like, at first I thought they were bloated, like they were dead, but they are not at all dead. but they are like massive. I mean, compared to the bin, they're really, really big. So that was an unusual finding, but again, there's still babies in here. So I think it's gonna be the red wigglers, followed by the European night crawlers, followed by those African night crawlers bringing up the tail. But unusual, but at the end of the day, I need the integrity of my house not to be filled with flies, and I don't want any sort of mold spreading inside. So these guys are going to get moved over to the outdoor bin. So I'll take you real briefly over there while we dump them in, and we'll take a peek while we're out there. Okay guys, so guess what? I have not been out here in a while, and it is reading almost 70, even though at night it's still going down into the 40s, 50s. There's springtails, there's a lot of signs of life, and out here I'm more than happy to have lots of signs of life. So the level also has significantly dropped, so I'm wondering if now that it's warming up, they're really able to get to work. And so we're having a lot of these other little critters moving in that are helping this compost system to work. Of course, usually it's so quiet here, and now this morning there's all sorts of cars driving by going to work. But you see worms right away, all throughout this top layer here. It actually feels really nice and warm in here. Like, I've never felt it this warm. So this is definitely turning into our summer bin. I'm really, really excited about that. I'm probably gonna dump what's in here now into the garden at some point pretty soon, and we'll kind of restart it as a summer bin. Because even this leaf matter and all that's in here can go into the garden the way it is. It's partially decomposed, and some of the worms will move with this material. But there's worms. The material is nice and dark. You can see how dark it is compared to the leaves on the very top over there that are light in color. But this material is definitely decomposing. It's nice and warm. So that's super encouraging. But yeah, I don't even have to go down real deep, and there's worms all over the place. So we're still doing something right. So I'm gonna dump the rest of these new guys in here, and I guess we'll call it an end to the reproduction games. I keep going down further and further, and it's just dark all the way down, and it's much, much warmer to the touch the further down I go. So it's a little silver lining for me, because I'm bummed out about the experiment. All my other bins are fine. I don't want all of those flies to move to my other bins, then we'll really have a problem. But I think it's probably above 70. We get really far down here. Safe to say they not only survived the winter, but they proliferated as well. So I combined everything into one container here. I'm gonna dump this entire thing into this system. A few little worms here on the bottom. I'll wrestle them out. These are our African night crawlers. Couldn't find the adults. They're also quite large. Okay, so all that's added in here. I'm gonna cover it. Better get my thermometer before it gets lost. Cover it back up with this decomposing leaf matter. The moisture feels pretty good in here, so I'll probably leave it until I come out to feed next week, but we'll definitely start doing full updates now that I have no excuse not to come out here. It's very nice out. The bin's nice and warm so we can feed them safely, so I look forward to that. So let me know what you think, guys. Disappointing end to the reproduction games, but at least the worms can have a nice home out here. They will survive well over the summer I would, you know, expect. So all in a good learning experience, and this is definitely the safest thing to do in my current situation right now. With having as many bins as I have, I can't afford to lose them all, so these guys are just going to have to be lost to the cause. So drop those comments below, like this video, subscribe if you'd like some more content from me, and I'll be back with you guys real soon for an update.